Hi.
This week we have Kelsey here. So this is my friend Kelsey.
Hi, guys.
I wanted to interview Kelsey this week because she does things that I do not do, like all of her classical dressage. So I got really excited to invite Kelsey so she can kind of give us more insight about her journey and what she's done with classical dressage and her company. So I'm going to let her introduce herself here. Well, Kelsey, tell us a bit about yourself and how you started riding and how you got into classical dressage. And you might have to correct me because you might have to tell me like what exactly you do, because I know there's
Okay.
different types. There's like
Yeah.
French classical,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
there's other, so I don't want to say it wrong, so I'll just
No,
let you
no.
take the mic on that.
Okay. I mean, someone will probably listen to this and correct me, but because there's so many little rules and things that people have, and I just, well, it's whatever to me.
Yeah.
As long as it works for the horse, then it's good.
Well, that's a good rule. If it works for the
Yeah.
horse, then and it works for the person, works for I like that. Works for the
Yeah.
person, works for the horse, it works.
Yeah. So I'm Kelsey. Thanks, Veronica, for having me. I
Oh,
was really
absolutely.
excited.
Me too.
um, so when I started in like 4-H and horseless horse because I didn't have a horse, and that was cool, very fun. I feel like it's good to have those pony experiences where you go with the little pony in the 4-H open class, and like pony's like, oh, this sand looks really nice, and just rolls, like that kind of
Aw.
fun thing. Yeah. And then I had a Welsh pony, so I did Welsh shows, and I did trail riding and fun stuff like that. And then in high school, I did the WIHA, the Wisconsin Interscholastic Horsemanship
Oh.
Association. So it's like competing against other schools with other riders from your school. It was really fun.
What age range is that in?
That was in high school.
Oh, high school.
Yeah,
I totally jumped the gun. I forgot to mention that you are in southern Wisconsin.
yeah,
We met at a clinic.
yeah.
You came to one of my clinics in southern Wisconsin 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay.
That was
Sorry,
awesome, by the way.
continue. Yeah.
I saw the advertisement for that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so going.
It was fun because we had our adult group
Yeah.
with with all the fun girls who've been attending some of the stuff. So yeah, that was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, that
We
was
were
so
there,
fun.
and then I made forever friends.
Yeah. I think there's a picture of me trying to stand on the horses, and I'm like in a chair position, squatted so low, ready to slide on Fez or Remy's back because I was like not used to it.
Yeah, it's hard to be up tall, like when you're not
Yeah,
used to it. You, it's it's unbelievable the difference, like psychologically, between
yeah,
sitting and standing on a
yeah,
horse. It's something to get used to.
yeah. I'm
Anyway,
used to having them.
I didn't mean to cut you off. So we were
No,
talking
you're
about
fine.
the competition with high schools. I've never
Yeah,
even heard of that. That is
it's
so
really
cool.
fun. I mean, not all schools do it, which really stinks, I think. But if you can get enough people in your high school to do it, it's really fun. And then we would compete like at a central location with all of the high schools in like southern Wisconsin, I think. I don't know.
That's
And
cool.
then I got a Fjord, so I would do Fjord shows and just other random open shows and exhibitions, fun stuff like that.
And how did that kind of curb your interest into what you do now, like the Liberty and the dressage?
Yeah, I kind of liked natural horsemanship. I felt like it had a little bit more communication than some of the pleasure type things.
Hmm.
But the communication and the relationship with the horse was like always paramount for me because I'm not just riding with them. I'm playing with them. I'm being their friend, I guess. That if they think of me like that, I don't know if you want to do that, but um, just playing with them on the ground, and that's the part that I love. So to me, keeping that in the riding was really important, and I knew that I loved horses enough to want to do it for like a large portion of my life. So I found an internship or like a working student position at a farm in Illinois that does classical dressage.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of lucky. I think it was a divine thing where God like showed me someone who also wants to do this. And I think that's Jill was taught by Dominique, and Dominique really believes in that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was
Yeah.
familiar with Jill from Donata.
Yeah.
And so she introduced you to, and is it French Classical Dressage that she does?
It's technically like a Bochet descendant, I guess you could call it, because Jill was trained by Dominique, and Dominique was trained by the master Oliveira, and Oliveira used Bochet's techniques, some of his techniques. So it's like a mix and match, but yes, the heritage is French.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All I hear is aloe vera, like the gel.
Oh, oh, Nuno Oliveira. I'm sorry, I probably said it wrong too.
No, that's because I'm not familiar with any of these names or terms.
Yeah.
So who is this?
Nuno is like he's a master when they call someone in classical dressage who's very well practiced and like does it for a living and embodies what they want to teach, and they call them masters. And so in Portugal, he was all over the place. I don't know if he started there. I don't see, this is where I'm bad. I don't know the history really well.
No, you're okay.
But
no more than I do.
he was a very famous master that was all around Portugal, and that's who Dominique learned from.
Cool.
Like, took a lot of good, like, staying things from that really changed him and his way with horses.
So this is a good segue.
Yeah.
So after your internship, how long were you at Jill's?
About 2 years.
2 years. And
yeah.
During those 2 years, you got that opportunity to travel to Portugal, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I went with Jill, Dominique, and Deborah Barbier, and that was like so fun because the Barbiers do like little excursions over there. So yeah, we went to Portugal and Golega and the Quinta de Brejo, which was, I think I said that right. Yeah, that was the master's his arena. So it was really cool to like see his arena where he did all of his work. And I mean, we went all over the place. We went to the museum, we went to the gardens, we went to the National Palace. That was really crazy.
That's so awesome. And
yeah.
You have some clips that you can share. So tell us like what you saw and what you experienced as far as like the world of horsemanship, because so Portugal and Golega?
Golega, yeah.
Golega. That so that
Golega.
I'm not even familiar with that, but I've seen that word as far as like horsemanship goes. So can you tell us like what your experience was, what you saw, how different it is from the stuff in this country?
It's so different. It's so different, but it's the same because everyone there is like loves the horse. Their entire country of Portugal, I feel like there's not an aspect of their culture that's not influenced by the horse some way.
We got horses from Spain and Portugal.
Yeah.
So this is ancient. This is
like
the
embedded
original tradition.
Yeah.
Is still so strong.
Yeah. And you can see it in everything that they do. I mean, Golega is a horse fair, but it's known as the World Horse Fair. So they have a traditional horse show where they have like 3-year-old stallions, and the 3-year-old mares, and then they have the little guys, and then they have the older ones, and they'll have a bunch of exhibitions, and the national school does an exhibition there. That's the Escola, I'm going to say it wrong, ready? The Escola Portuguese Art Equestrian, I'm going to say it wrong. It's the School of Equestrian Arts for Portugal.
Perfect.
Is the English one.
That's okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Most everybody listening are English speakers, so you got
good. But you walk around and everyone's on horseback or in a cart, and even driving there's some people like driving their little carriage up with all of these magnificent Lusitanos, like, ooh, nice horse flesh. Really nice. And what strikes me as different is that there is safety precautions, but none. Like, It's just like there's no rules and no one gets hurt. I mean, I'm sure people do get hurt, but I never saw it. We were there like the whole time. But the thing is, these people are so connected with their horse, and they have such a knowledge of the mechanics of the horse that they can, even if the horse is really like not okay with something, they can keep them out of harm's way
Mm-hmm.
in different ways. I would say that they're different from the Spanish people because Spanish is a little more parade-esque,
Got it.
and Portuguese is more about the science and the movement of the horse. Even I would go so far as to say it's more artistic
Cool.
in a different way, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the other question?
Oh. Well, I'm going to go on a segment about what you just said about like safety. It's so interesting because it seems like what you're telling me is that the horsemanship is so embedded that it's not something that they have to be extra cautious with.
Yeah.
And I mean, the same goes for circus in other countries versus like this country. I'm going to get on a controversial topic here, but it's like America can be so sue happy.
Yeah.
You know? And so when you go to, and even the times have changed, like I don't know about you, but I recall going on vacations when I was younger and the livery stables where you could just rent a horse. And they're like, here you go. And then you're like, cool. And you go around and just and you don't see that anymore.
No.
You can't do that anymore. You can barely find even just like trail rides.
Yeah.
I grew up going on trail rides out west where those horses, none of us knew how to ride horses. Those horses didn't even know how to be ridden. All they knew was like to follow each other.
Yeah.
So then you see like this little kid like kicking, and then trotting off the side like and like they're not worried, and all of that is kind of just disappearing little by little.
It is,
and it's sad, and it's rare now to see the carriages because that's always getting fought, and they still have like the carriages in New Orleans, but the horsemanship, because of safety and how sue happy we can be in this country. That's why it's amazing that for now I can teach, trick riding on horses, but the kids have to be in the helmets. I carry insurance. We take it slow. There's no like slapping the horse on the ass and being like, okay, go. And you don't see the same like level, like caliber of tricks done in this country versus other countries, because at some point it's just not, unfortunately for artists, because of how hard it can be to jump through the hoops of safety and lawsuits and everything, it ends up not being worth it.
That's sad too, because I mean art requires failure. It really does. I mean, you have to fail to get it at least part of what you wanted in it. So
I would say if you don't know bad, then you don't know what good is.
Exactly.
You have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are some safety precautions that I think are good in our country, like the Midwest Horse Fair is a big thing, and there's lots of safety precautions around it, but now it's getting to the point where it's like, is this necessary? I mean, I don't know. I'm not up on all of it technically, but I don't, there's no grace in our society anymore. We just go straight to whose fault it is or something
whose
silly.
Fault it is, There's like a lack of learning almost. Like I fell off the horse, I need to learn something, and instead it's like, I fell off the horse, it's your fault.
I think pride and maybe ego is getting in the way of our living.
That's so true. Oh, so sad. Anyways, back to Portugal, because that sounds a little more exciting. So you said it was more like artistic and more science of the motion of the horse, and is that what draws your masters to that type of training and culture?
The Portuguese have over time created a beautiful horse. The Lusitano, it's functional beyond compare, because in the horse world they're put together in a way where their back functions and it allows them to utilize their entire body as like, you know how a unicycle, this is in Dominique's book actually, but it's like a unicycle is like a circle and you can go in any direction, any way you want, maybe, I don't know, for real.
Yeah.
But compared to like a bike where you're going on the road and you have to turn, it's going to take you a minute to go over there. But that's how they
amazing.
use it for bullfighting, is because they need to be able to go anywhere right now versus like a trail horse or like a quarter horse or something like a thoroughbred, that can just spread out over ground.
So I have a thoroughbred, a very long in the back thoroughbred.
Uh-huh.
I love Scout,
Yeah.
he's my baby. But I have experience with the Lusitano, and Scout can do his little waltzes at Liberty, and it's just like turn. And that Lusitano that I worked with would just pivot
Yeah.
the back end, and it was so fast, and it was so beautiful, and his legs would move so fast. It's like a little dancer. Like, yeah, it is a beautiful horse. And that's what I was going to ask. Is that what they are celebrating, or do they have multiple breeds? Or they really, like, their culture is this breed?
Yes, they are celebrating the horse. The Lusitano is their horse.
Got it.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of sad because the current popular thing is to take a Lusitano and compete it, but Lusitanos and competition dressage are not the same thing. Mm-hmm. So the high action and the long ground covering, it's reasonable, but within the horse's frame. So you can't like take the traditional Lusitano and expect to do well with it in modern competition. So they're breeding for that modern competition, which is kind of sad and scary because they're losing their traditional horse.
I feel like many breeds lose their traditional horse. Yeah. I mean, the Morgan used to be huge. Yeah. Big, like thick. The only big Morgan I know now is Sundance. Yeah. He's big. And then the other ones I know are like tiny. They want him to look like
Sonny is so nice.
Yeah, I know. He's amazing. But the other Morgans I know are like tiny, and they got them hot to look like the Arabs, like with all the action in front. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
It's disconnected. It's not, because for a horse to be functional and like sustain, have a longer career, be sound its whole life, it needs to have its back functioning, because that allows it to alleviate pressure off its joints and everything and its bone structure.
Yeah, just shorter in the back, right? More compact. Do they do a lot of that when you talked about the unicycle, like being able to turn? It makes me think of those equitation classes where they're just like going through the course and then like spinning on a dime. Is that what they do a lot of?
Yeah, they do a lot of that actually. Why am I thinking? Yeah, it's working equitation. It's not American working equitation. No. It's different. Yeah. So the equitation classes that I did in 4-H are not the same thing as the Portuguese equitation classes.
Oh, same. I did IHSA in college. That's Intercollegiate Horse Show Association, which was amazing. It's an awesome organization because you can show, you don't have to have a horse. It was inexpensive. Nice. But it's like hunt seat equitation. And I remember, and it's so political, and there is a look. And when I got the position correct, I have the look because I'm long. Yeah. Not fair, No,
it's not fair.
I can't help it that I'm long and she's not,
No, yeah.
But I remember I wasn't winning, and then I had a experienced IHSA coach look at my position, and she's like, "You need to lean like way more forward." And I did, and then I started getting blue ribbons, and I was just like in this very ineffective position.
That's so silly.
Anything here.
That's so silly.
I know. It was fun, but it was not something that I continued to carry with.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's why I've stepped away from showing a little bit, because the horse has ceased to be first. It's more about the winning than the horse.
Yep. Where you're doing this, you people love the idea of winning and being involved.
Yeah.
And this is the opportunity that they find, and
Yeah.
they're just doing it. But they're not wondering, like, how is
Yeah.
this working?
Yeah.
They're just doing it. Why? Because they want to win, but they're not
Yeah.
thinking, like, how is this done the way it should be done?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so you got to go to the school, you got to
Yeah.
see that kind of stuff. And how long did you spend over there?
I think it was like 10 days. It was 10 days really crammed full with a lot of stuff. I was so tired when I came home, but like so amazing.
So that was pretty eye-opening, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I had never left like the Midwest before, so I was like, what? What is a palm tree? What?
What is a palm tree? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was, yeah, so we have like these amazing clips, even just your clips I was looking at earlier, like even the building style.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so, God,
That's
like,
what's so cool.
picturesque of like culture.
Yeah. Everyone's just walking around on their horse in the bars that you can ride up to. Like, it's all catered to the horseback, you know. Even the restaurants, like, they turn horse, like, under the buildings, there's little, like, compartments where the horses were, because they still keep them in, like, their little city. But then they would convert them to, like, restaurants or bars during Golega. So you walk in and you know it's a horse area, but it's, like, now a restaurant. And, I mean, the food was so good. You wouldn't, it was, like, otherworldly food. I swear it's, like, the closest thing to heaven.
Aww.
For me, for a horse person anyways, I don't know.
One day you'll go back, right?
Yeah.
I'll come with you. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
What time is this a yearly event?
Yeah, they canceled it this year because COVID, but usually it's in the fall every year.
In the fall. Okay, cool. I gotta pick an open fall date. We'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
We were just talking to our friends the other day over the weekend from Mongolia, and her family has horses. And they're like, we're going to have a women's trip and just go out and ride. I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome.
Horses. I was like, I don't think I can.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, they don't stop. They just go.
Just go. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Well, if a women's trip, we'll do that one too. I'll invite you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Sign me up for that.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to wait till the world calms down.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh,
a little bit.
So funny thing about culture, and then I think about Wisconsin because we are both in Wisconsin right now. I'm just
like
way north of you.
Yeah.
Like our culture is farms and cheese curds and beer,
fried stuff.
You gotta love it a little bit. Like,
yeah.
It's like I think of Portugal. It sounds so like classy and like.
Yeah. I think it's like that because literally you can't go anywhere without seeing it because even the roads are like cobblestone. So you know someone put so much work into that, you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so you went to Portugal and then you came home.
Yeah.
And how long was it before you went out to Dominique's?
I think I was like I went up in the fall and then it was like the winter and then that summer I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out to California and do the thing with Dominique and Deborah and learn some more.
All right, tell me about that. Tell us about
that. That was like to learn from Dominique and Deborah and Lauren was like precious beyond measure to me because they know so much and they're just so willing to share it with people. Watching is everything because once you see it, you can never unsee it. And once you feel it, because feeling is so important to everything we do with horses, you can never not feel it. So, I mean, out there I was just watching as much as I could, trying to ask as many questions as I could. And it's a lot to take in. It's kind of like a rewiring of your horse brain.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you
go ahead.
You go.
Okay. I was gonna just say that the stallions out there are really cool too.
Yeah. You brought your horse.
Yeah.
So,
Shelby, my little Fjord, went to visit with all the stallions.
oh. So what is the difference in your words, in your mind, having your Fjord versus training on these Lusitanos?
Yeah, I mean, they're built entirely differently. Shelby is like, she's kind of a cart type Fjord, so she's like for cart driving. Um, so she's kind of downhill, like, and has a longer back. She has a nice trot, but her sitting ability to lower the hindquarters and to elevate the haunches or the shoulders, there we go, elevate the shoulders is really hard. It's really hard for her. She has to put a lot of energy into it, and so that was kind of a challenge, a big challenge, was to learn how to do that in lightness and relaxation.
But the nice thing about that is that you learn the most. It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
You telling me this makes me think of my sister went to National Canine School.
Yeah.
And so everybody had a border collie or a German shepherd.
Yeah.
And these like super intelligent breeds. And she had this like Malamute
Oh.
mix. And those Nordic dogs are lazy.
Yeah.
She got into school and they were like, you are going to struggle, but you're going to learn the most.
Yeah. Yeah. The patience and the learning that you do, it's more about yourself. I mean, you need to get yourself out of your way so you can see clearly to see what's actually happening with the horse.
So tell me about your days. So were you working like 6 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we had off one day a week. Sometimes like on clinic weeks or like symposium, we'd just go straight through. But Lauren usually tried to fit us in some time off so we could, go grocery shopping or whatever.
It's important.
But yeah, it was very intensive. But I think that's good. You have to submerge yourself in it if you want to actually be able to get a discipline going for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Were you like working horses from sun up to sundown, riding, or doing other like barn work or a combination of the sort?
It's somewhere in between, a combination of the sort. There was 24 horses in the barn, I think. But in the morning, we get our lesson from Lauren. And then usually some clients would come in and we'd watch the clients work their horses and get a lesson from Dominique or Deborah. And then like Dominique or Deborah would give you a lesson a couple times a week. And then in between that, we were getting horses ready, we were cleaning, we were getting the food, and then we had our own little horses that we would get exercised.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole system there.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of horsemanship.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have to love it to be like fully submerged like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the stallions are kind of like concentrated horse. You kind of have to make sure you're consistent and present. You can't be like off
right.
daydreaming while you got the stallion.
Oh, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Gosh. I have a question for you. I keep thinking about that unicycle thing you said. That's
yeah.
So if you could sum up the type of horsemanship you were learning, how would you sum it up? To me, from our conversation, which, by the way, the two of us have not talked about this before.
I know, yeah.
So I'm like processing as we're talking. To me, it sounds like what you're doing is to have like total harmonious but yet control over every part of the horse.
Yeah, Dominique calls it Centaurization. So you know a centaur, where the person is the horse. Yeah. So he calls it that, and I think there's nothing that encapsulates the feel better than that, because you really do just want to be able to be so connected and physically out of the way that your brain can take over and you can have like a communication on another level.
And I remember when we did Bristol.
Yeah.
You were there before I was, and thank you. You connected.
Yeah, of course.
But you and it's interesting because what you do is like so important and so amazing, and I do have a lot of interest in it, but it's different from trick riding because I have to, like in these podcasts, I keep saying like my horse needs to maintain gait, maintain direction until told otherwise.
Yeah.
Like for the games, it's like I send you down the list, you keep running, this person's gonna hit me,
Yeah.
it's gonna shatter, I'm gonna rock my weight left, right,
Uh-huh.
back and forth, maybe even fall off. You just keep going.
Yeah.
So so how was that with Shelby? You've been doing all that dressage, and then you're, you know, rocking your weight back and forth, reaching, getting this ring and doing that. How did you find any challenges with that, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, you have a relationship with the horse besides when you're on top of them. So as long as you make sure that you keep that there, and have a good whoa, button whoa,
Yeah.
because there's the whoa when you think it and you do the thing and you're like all Dominique and just think it and it happens, and then there's the button whoa,
Right.
because when you're doing tricks and stuff, you kind of have to set aside what is going on around you. So you can't be like, oh, I'm feeling really anxious right now and I don't know if I can actually physically stop. You just have to be like, nope, we're stopping. It's done now. And it's hard to switch back and forth between that. It definitely, you have to go into one or the other for a season at least. And even then, I mean, it's mostly how you switch, how you keep it separate, but even then it's hard. And I mean, Matt will tell you, like, I think the first time we did a game or something, Shelby was like, nope, my whoa button does not work. So he like blocked us in, so we actually stopped versus taking off. But once she like understood it's not gonna get her the long stick in the crowd, and
Yeah, it's a lot at once.
yeah,
In the games can be hard 'cause it's like you take off, you stay consistent, you power through it, and then you stop.
yeah, the stop.
To get them to stop after all of that just happened,
Uh-huh.
that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard, and it's amazing when they, I mean, all of these jobs, all of these, like, you know, specialty jobs can be, you know, demanding, and when you find a good horse that can do it, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. So can you tell us now, you came back from California, how long were you in California?
I was there for about 2 years also.
2 years
About,
also.
yeah.
You
Just
have a lot
shy.
of training behind you, and you came back just this
this spring, like
spring.
right as COVID was bad.
That's not a bad time to come home.
Yeah.
That's right. You came back in the spring, and you kept getting delayed because I kept chatting with you about when you were coming home.
Yeah. It was a kind of a silly coming back. It was rough.
Well, and you guys had fires too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fires right now.
Yeah.
So that's hard. Are you happy to be home?
I'm happy that my horse is home. I felt like I really should have been there helping them because they had to evacuate the whole Barbier farm again. And that's a lot of work for that team. I mean, they are really good at it, but it's so hard and scary. I mean, this time they really didn't know if the barn was going to go. Like,
oh my God.
That's nerve-wracking. And needlessly, I really hope it never, I mean, it's going to, but I don't know. I don't know.
That's really scary. I hope they're safe.
Yeah. They've since moved back into the barn. Like the fire has been contained, I think. I don't know what percentage is at right now, but yeah.
My gosh, you guys in California, you know, my friends down south with their hurricanes.
Yeah.
We get blizzards up here.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh my goodness. All right, so you got home in the spring, and now can you tell everybody about your company? When I met Kelsey, she had a bunch of questions about starting her own business and company, and here she is. She's got it.
Thank you so much, Veronica, for answering all of my millions of obnoxious questions about everything.
Obnoxious. They were good. You're good.
Oh, I really appreciate it, because it's people like you that help me to be able to ever even think about doing that, something like this. So,
Yay!
yeah.
You can do it.
Pioneer Veronica. Well, I'm Helicon Horsemanship. So it's just a training idea. Well, I mean, I don't know, service, what do you want to call it? I have a website, yeah, and a Facebook and an Instagram. And I'm currently accepting lessons. So if anyone wants a lesson, you can message me. But I really want to just provide a safe haven for people and horses to feel like they can be vulnerable and genuinely grow. So I'm hoping that, I'll travel around to barns or wherever. I'm hoping that I can help some people, learn some things with them, and just have some fun.
I think so.
Yeah.
So she's in southern Wisconsin, but she travels. And gosh, I have people I can refer to you for sure.
Okay.
You can help them.
Okay.
Especially with all the training you've had and just and how honestly like spiritual you are, and then how you can just help bring about that connection. And sometimes it's like, I was talking to you about lessons from you because I'm a trick rider, so I'm floppy. Like I am a
No.
yeah,
You're a very good trick rider.
But I mean, I'm like tight when I need to be, but just like riding around, I'm just like yeehaw. Like I'm also desensitizing the horse to like a lot of movement, which is kind of counter from what you do. But I've talked about lessons from you, so like I could use some. But you were telling me in response, it becomes less about the horse and more about you and your awareness. So I think this type of training that you do is probably like super wholesome for the person, not necessarily the horse. Everybody nitpicks, and that's a lot like how you even got started with the natural horsemanship, like less about the horse, more about the control here.
Yeah. Because when you ask a horse to be physically on that level where they can be a unicycle for you, or those giant old bikes where it's, I don't know. But when you ask them to do that, you have to get out of the way. You cannot be kicking them or squeezing them or pulling their face at all. They have to be able to move within themselves. And if to go one step further and to allow them to express themselves, you really have to be out of the way.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to add about?
Oh no, let me see.
Yeah, you have more notes than I do. So if there's something you want to tell the people, now's your chance.
Okay.
Because I have questions. You answered everything for me.
What you were saying about the like going with the horse, and versus not. It's hard for me because I started like with the natural horsemanship and wanting to go with the horse a lot, and I feel like that's where it was hard for me to learn dressage, because you have to have a position, so you have to go with the horse but in a position, and that was really hard for me.
Yeah, that would be hard. For a little bit of time there, I would help people with their seat.
Yeah.
Because at least, like, spinning around on the circle pretty fast, like there's so much centrifugal force pulling you out.
Yeah.
And, if you're on like the bareback pad, you just have handles, and then you just have all this room to like stand up and everything. So you really just have to have this like leaning back deep seat where you're leaning in a little bit, and let your hips go. So I helped a lot of people with their seat, and to me, it always seemed like a meter. And it's like, here's like the sweet spot where you're perpendicular to the ground and your hips are moving freely, and then you just keep going out of it. And when it feels right, it feels right, but it's so much work to like stay there. Not even work like physical concentration, because once they start concentrating too much, they lose it. So it's like a work on harmony. And then they're forward, and then they're back, and then they're forward, and they're back, and it just kept taking practice to like stay in that sweet spot where you're like, oh my God, okay, I'm whizzing around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but like I feel like relaxed and secure.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah. I can imagine what you're saying about keeping this position.
Yeah. A lot of it had to do with the seat too, because like when your pelvis is on a horse, say this is your pelvis, a lot of people sit with their butt out, right?
Oh yeah, I call it duck butt.
And you have to get it under you and pull your belly button to your spine like in Pilates and stack from there. And when you do that, you can connect to their back, and then they can be relaxed and in their back. Yeah. So they're powerful there.
And that's the difference between like that hunt seat equitation. I call it boobs, butt, and teeth. Like
yeah.
Hunched over.
Yeah.
Versus
Dominique.
like standing up, pushing your hips underneath you, and then like sitting on your back pockets.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, and then being relaxed like that is yeah. Dominique calls, well, what does he say? He says it's like riding like a monkey, wherever the little monkeys riding around on a little pony, like meow. Yeah. That's how most people ride. I mean, everyone rides like that until they learn to let go and like open up, and then that's the hard part.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. No, it is. That's why I'm challenged. I have problems. Oh, all right. Anything else you would like to add about what you do or
company?
Closing lines.
Huh?
Closing lines.
Okay. Thank you so much, Veronica, for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm in southern Wisconsin. And I'm going to be at Birdquist Farm a little bit. So if you're in the area, that's a good farm.
Yay. Yes, I will.
Thanks, Veronica.
You're welcome. I will, when I put this out for the podcast or the video, there will be a link attached for her website and her Facebook. So you guys can jump on there and get in touch with her and connect and make some magic happen. Well, thank you for sharing all that stuff. It's really exciting because I haven't had anyone with that type of experience on before. So thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you, Veronica, for having me.
You're welcome. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.